Hi guys, so this video is on solving with distribution, but before we get to solving with distribution, I just want to go over what distribution is. When I think of the word distribute, I want it to be fair. So I want it to go to everyone when I'm giving out something, right? So, for example, if I'm giving out cookies in class and I'm giving 1 cookie to Brenda and 3 to Jose, that wouldn't be fair. I need to distribute it evenly. Okay, so that means I would need to give 1 to Brenda and 1 to Jose, or 3 to Brenda and 3 to Jose. So when we're talking about numbers, distribution is just giving that number to the next one. So I'm giving the 2 to the 3. But then I'm also giving the 2 to the 4. That's what we mean by distribution. Now in math, when I distribute, I use these parentheses. And that means multiplication. So remember that parentheses mean multiply. So 2 and 3 is the same thing as saying 6, and 2 times 4 is the same thing as saying 8. Okay? And as you know, we can add that together and simplify, but you get the gist. So same thing here. If I take the 5 with the x, that gets me 5 times x, and I get the 5 with the 7, that gets me 5 times 7. Now, I can't simplify this entirely. We have to think back to our like term conversation. So this is 5x plus 35. And I can't make that any smaller because 5x and 35 are not like terms. Probably wondering what these boxes are for. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the box method before, but we're going to use that a lot later in the year. So I just want to introduce it with this when we are distributing something that's a little bit easier. You set it up like so, and what goes inside is essentially the multiplying part. So 2 times 3 and 2 times 4. Here I would write 5 times x and 5 times 7, which, as we just said, is 6 plus 8 and 5x plus 35. Same thing. Oh, 35, not 37. Same thing, just a different way to write it. Okay? Now, let's get to actually solving these things. So when I am solving, we always want to make sure we are simplifying first. And simplify can mean distributing, combining like terms, but remember, simplifying means we're getting something smaller. Okay, then we're going to solve the rest using inverse operations like we've been doing. So, not really any different, just adding that distribution factor. Okay, so let's look at example number 1. I have my -2 in the parentheses. That tells me I need to distribute. So when I distribute, I get -2 times x and -2 times -3. Now I need to go ahead and simplify that. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -3 is positive 6 equals 30. Now I have a 2-step equation. Why don't you go ahead and solve that and then come back and check your answer. All right, so when you solve that, we use our inverse. Remember, I'm trying to get the x by itself by moving the furthest thing away. So that furthest thing away is the 6. That cancels. I get 2x equals 24. And my last step is to divide by -2. Remember, when I draw that little line, it means we're dividing. And my final answer, these cancel out. I get x equals -12. How would I check if I wanted to check? Good. Substitution. All right, and you probably should check just in case I'm wrong again, like I was in last video. Okay, let's look at example number 2. Same thing, I want to make sure to distribute and simplify first. I am distributing what is outside the parentheses, what is to go into what is inside the parentheses. So I have my 2 times x plus 2 times -4. Now what about this guy? This guy isn't going to just disappear. We got to bring him down. But he was not part of the distribution. Why? Because, if you said this, he's not attached to the parentheses. I can only distribute what's in the parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to simplify. I'm not done simplifying. So I simplified a 2x. This turns into negative 8, and I'm still bringing down my 8x. Now, am I done simplifying? No. We have, what are these called? Like terms. So I have a positive 2x and a positive 8x. Now, these are on the same side of that equal sign, so I can combine them. We're not moving it over back and forth, so I'm just sticking with my regular operation. So it's a positive 2 and a positive 8, so that combines to a 10x. Now, I can't forget about that negative 8 that's chilling. So I bring him down, and now I have a two-step equation. Go ahead and finish that, please. Great. So you would have done this, and got 20 equals 10x divided by 10. Oh no, I'm running out of room. Let me finish that over here. 10x equals 20. Divide by 10, divide by 10, and you get x equals 2. And again, like before, make sure to check your answers in case I made a mistake, and please let me know. And if you have any questions, fill that out over here. So that way you can ask them tomorrow when we do this. Bye-bye.